Hi everyone, my name is Tang from Nanjing University. Today I will be presenting our paper entitled AST-Trans Code Summarization with Efficient Tree-Structured Attention. As our paper focuses on code summarization, let me briefly introduce this task. Code summarization, or code comment generation, is a task generating natural language description for the source code. There are three main kinds of input for this task: code, abstract syntax tree, or AST in short, and linearized AST. Methods using code as input often treat source code as natural language. So, by splitting code into tokens, sequence models such as RNN or transformer can be applied. Also, the AST can be treated as a tree structure data and use the tree-based models such as tree-LSTM or GNN to process. There are also some methods to linearize AST, such as classic pre-order traversal, structure-based traversal, and path decomposition, which was proposed in Code2Sequence in 2019. After the linearization, the AST data can also be processed by sequence models. The motivation of our paper is the linearized AST is much longer than their corresponding source code sequence. For example, linearizing with SBT usually makes the size times longer, while encoding the overlong AST with SBT even underperforms directly encoding the source code when using transformer. Moreover, the linearized AST brings significant computational overhead. For transformer-based models, the number of self-attention operations grows quadratically with the sequence length. Based on this intuition, we propose AST-Trans, a simple variant of the transformer model, to efficiently handle the tree-structured AST. The input of the model is a pre-ordered traversal sequence, and we use two relationship matrices, including a sensor-descendant and sibling relationship matrices, to represent the tree structure, and use these matrices to dynamically exclude irrelevant nodes in different self-attention layers. We define two kinds of relationships between nodes in the tree: a sensor-descendant and sibling relationships. We consider sibling relationship because in AST, children nodes are ordered. For example, 0 less than x and x less than 0 have the different sibling relationship. Specifically, two nodes have the sensor-descendant relationship if there exists a directed path from root nodes that can traverse through them, and two nodes have the sibling relationship if they share the same parent node. Formally, we use SPDIJ and SIDIJ to denote the shortest path distance and horizontal sibling distance between node I and node J. P is a predefined threshold, and nodes with distance beyond P will be ignored, as we think that far relationship beyond a certain range is not useful. For example, the sibling distance between node named x and a constant 0 is 2, which is beyond max distance p, which equals to 1. So we set it infinite. Note that we consider the relative relationship between two nodes, which means Aij equals to minus Aki and Sij equals to minus Sji if a relationship exists between node I and node J. We then introduce the tree-structured attention. Tree-structured attention is built on the disentangled attention. It contains three parts: content to content, content to position, and position to content. Kp and Qp are hyperparameter matrices. Kp delta Ij is the delta Ijth row of Kp, and for those nodes whose relationships are infinite, the attention scores are also set to infinite. Here we give an example. To compute the attention score between node LT and node compare, we first calculate the query vector of LT and the key vector of compare. Then we search the relationship matrix A and get the distance between LT and compare equals to -1. So we use the query vector of LT, multiply the last row of Kp. For position to context part, we use the first row of Qp, multiply the key vector of compare. Finally, we add these three parts together to get the attention score alpha. Next, I will talk about the implementation of the model. As we consider both ancestor, descendant, and sibling relationships, hence we use different relationships in different heads. HA means the number of heads used for ancestor-descendant relationship, and HS means the number of heads used for sibling relationship. As we only need to compute attention scores for the related node pairs, there is no need to compute infinite positions. In other words, the relationship matrix can be treated as a sparse matrix, and we propose an algorithm called GDC to do self-attention more efficiently. There are three steps in GDC. First, we decompose the matrix and use the COO format to represent the decomposed matrix. Secondly, we use core index to reorder the query context and use the raw index to reorder the key context. After that, we can compute the attention scores. Here, we give a specific case for GDC algorithm. Firstly, we group node pairs with the same distance. So, matrix R is decomposed to three matrices, R-1, R0, and R1. We proved a theorem that the number of node pairs with the same distance length in relationship matrix will not exceed the size of the tree. Hence, if we transfer the composed matrix to its COO format, the length of core index will not exceed the size of the tree. This feature helps parallel computing. Then, in the second step, the query and the key context are reordered by core index and raw index separately. In this case, the query and the key context are copied 3 times and then resorted. And by doing this, we just need to do dot production on the query and the key context to get the attention scores. So the complexity is linearly with the AST size. Finally, we add these 3 results together and can get the final attention matrix. We do our experiments on 2 code summarization datasets. One is Java language, and the other one is Python. The results show that AST-Trans outperforms all the baselines on all these 3 matrices. We also analyze the theoretical complexity and the runtime and memory cost in GPU. For theoretical analysis, we use flops, or called floating point operations, as the indicator and analyze the 5 algorithms in random trees. As can be seen, loop has the lowest complexity but cannot be parallelized. Mask and sparse grows quadratically with the AST size. GDC slightly outperforms GC and has a complexity close to loop. We also analyze the runtime and memory cost in GPU, different from theoretical analysis. Operations in GPU can be computed in parallel. From the figure, we can find that time and memory usage of GDC scales linearly with the AST size and has the fastest speed with the lowest memory cost. Conclusion. First, we propose AST-Trans that can efficiently encode long AST sequences with linear complexity. Secondly, we perform a comprehensive analysis with both theoretical and empirical evidences on the computational complexity of different implementations. And thirdly, we validate our proposed model on 2 datasets of Java and Python, and experimental results show that AST-Trans outperforms the state-of-art. Here is a reference. That's all. Thank you.